All right. Ooh, he's cracking. We're getting ready. I cannot wait for you. Oh, we got it. We're throwing it my way. Another episode 11. We're back. Listen Night Podcast. Appreciate anybody for tuning in. This week we are going to be talking about, this is the two-part episode. Last week we did all-time childhood moments. This week we're going to be doing perks of adulthood. I was telling the guys before we got going, this list was significantly more difficult than all-time childhood moments. All-time childhood moments, if you'd given me enough time, aka if I hadn't started writing it the morning of the pod, I probably could have given you dozens of them. Adulthood, a little bit more difficult. It's like, oh yeah, pay your bills.
Yeah, I was like, do we really need to keep this format of having five? Because really stretching it here.
We'll each
I
do
had
one.
one.
Combine that for a good list.
Yeah, I had one, and I was like, oh, I need more.
Yeah, it was not as easy. I expected going into it. I was like, here's all these things that I can do as an adult, and like each one of them has like significant downsides associated with it. So we'll see. Might not be our happiest episode, but
I mean, I just think if it was really a two-parter, it should have been like the highs of childhood and the lows of adulthood. But I'm just saying that part would have been better.
That would have been a fantastic thing to bring up prior to us putting our list together and starting this recording. So
I didn't think we were ready for a depressing episode yet.
Here's what we'll do. Episode 20, we'll do lows of childhood and lows of adulthood, which could just be the same list that we're about to do.
Can we commit to that this far in advance? I didn't shake on this.
I would like to commit to the guys that instead of doing like a highlight videos, we do low light videos and just like jokes that didn't land.
Play the entire pod.
Yeah.
Jokes that didn't land, things that didn't make sense, stutters, anything like that.
Recorded 11 and a half hours of content, and 11 hours and 20 minutes of it made your lowlights.
We should just get a laugh track. That way we feel good about ourselves.
You guys not have one playing?
Yeah, we should get a producer, Matt Ferentinos, and have him hit us with a laugh track. Although, now that I suggested who I suggested, I imagine he'll just keep hitting the laugh track button. Or it'll be him. He'll be our live studio.
It's just going to be him. It's just going to be him.
He's going to be our live studio audience, and it's going to be purely audio of him laughing throughout.
When does that Redbox sponsorship come through?
It's crazy. They haven't reached out yet, which I assume it's because there's just legal things happening. But
we've mentioned them every episode.
Lots of red tape. I'm sure they want to. They got to go through the process.
There's a process. They've got to reject all of the bigger pods so they can make their way to us and just bring back their business model of physical media.
You know what I'm really in need of? Something that's better than toilet paper. Something that's not dry. I wish there was a product that was known for sponsoring podcasts that was something just like that.
Squarespace?
I don't know how sponsorships work, but I assume Dude Wipes was going to call me right this moment.
Dude Wipes. I was like, what does this have to do with one-day rentals of DVDs?
I'm just thinking of the people that sponsor every podcast.
Yeah. The fact that Dude Wipes hasn't reached out yet, kind of insane. So, hey, if you work for Dude Wipes, or really any company, if you work for a company, if you have a full-time position at a company, honestly, even a part-time position, I'm not going to say, reach out to us. We are taking sponsorships. We will degrade ourselves even more than just being on this pod already does. We will say ridiculous things to promote your products and or services.
And I want to know that I will flip-flop. I mean, if someone wants to sponsor us 1 week, Casper 1 week, Purple the next week, deal. Rivals, Nemesis.
I'll change mattresses. I'll change mattresses every week. I don't care.
Every week.
I will sell out.
My pillow guy keeps donating like tens of millions of dollars to different Republican politicians to get elected. I'll pretend to be a Republican. Like I'm happy to take that guy's money. I would not say no to it.
Well, have a good podcast, Griffin. That's where you lost me.
Andrew's officially out. Although off pod, he's probably going to be like, I need to be cut into that money. So he's going to send me a Venmo request the minute we get off of this.
All right.
Yeah,
We're
you feeling good? Feeling great?
well, I'd feel better if that 5 minutes of ad reading was for actual ads we were getting paid for.
If we were getting paid to promote the things that we just promoted.
Honestly, the worst possible like method to try to get sponsors is to name a bunch of companies without their permission.
Yeah, what is it? What is it they say? Oh, if you are good at something, never do it for free. We're not good at anything, so everything that we do is for free. But on that note, we are going to get started. According to Andrew, our order this week is going to be Thomas, followed by me, and then Andrew is going to be the last one to go. If you are a attentive viewer and you notice that is not the order we should have this week,
Shut up.
So, doesn't matter.
Don't doubt me.
Whatever we want it to be. There's only 3 of us, so it really can't be that different. And Thomas, you haven't won a lot you didn't win a lot in the first 10 episodes. Let me say, you didn't pick up a lot of wins. You picked up a win. So 11 through 20 might be your time. You might get back in it. Who's to say?
I just noticed my farmer stand's pretty bad. Should probably wear sleeves more often.
You should wear sleeves less often.
No, more often so you can't see it. Anyway, yeah, this list, fun. Spent a lot of time on it. So my number 5 is pretty personal with like current life, I guess, my current life. Honestly, there's the theme, I guess. Fuck, there's always a fucking theme to my list, and I don't mean there to be sometimes. Like hot dogs, yeah, but right now, no. Anyway, my number 5 is just tattoos. I know people get tattoos when they're young, but I'm currently like in the process of picking my next tattoo. And like as an adult, it's one of those things where it's like, it's your choice. So just fucking do it. It's like you can do whatever the hell you want, and people can say whatever they want, but you can get whatever you want tattooed on you, and that's it.
Yeah. So every week that I don't go first, I feel like you guys just off to the races with picks that I have on my list. And then the weeks that I do go first, you have nothing that's on my list. So going first has 0 value to it. Frustrating start for me. But yeah, no, great pick. I mean, everybody knew somebody in high school or something that had tattoos, so you didn't necessarily need to be an adult to get tattoos. You could have just been like one of the cool kids with parental issues and a single family home. Single parent households. Sorry, family home.
The poor souls with single family homes.
It's not like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. There's not a ton of people just laying in a bed together. Tattoos is a good choice. I'm pissed off to start, so we're in a good spot.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of our picks are gonna be things that like you could conceivably do as a child, but just one of the perks of adulthood is how much easier it is. Whether it's because you have the money to do it, or just there's no like pressure to not do it, or you don't have to get permission for anyone. And this is one of those things. So I respect it.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I was about to say this, I was like, this isn't a good pick because it's like,
no, it's a good pick.
But also, I mean, any pick that pisses Griffin off, but he also agrees with, is a great pick. It's a great pick.
Yeah.
No arguments here.
Like some emotional whiplash to get going.
All right. Well, that was easy. So we'll move on to the next one. My number 4 is simply options, because I have all the options in the world to me.
What options?
As a kid.
What options do you have?
Hey, I'm gonna want you to elaborate on this.
No one gets to tell me what to eat. No one gets to tell me what to do. No one gets to tell me what to drink. Like on Monday for Memorial Day, a fantastic minor holiday, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna barbecue. And I got off work and I spent 8 hours grilling and barbecuing, and it was fucking amazing. That was my choice.
when you're a kid, you just be like, hey, Dad, you want to like grill today? And then you can do things during those 8 hours and then still arrive at the conclusion that is barbecued food.
I mean, when I say 8 hours, I mean like the ribs were cooking for 8 hours and I was next to the grill for like 2.5.
Drinking beers.
Thomas's parents were famously anti-barbecue. He'd be like, "Can we barbecue today?" And they'd be like, "Shut up, no."
Go to Andrew's house.
Yeah.
I mean, by options, I just mean like, because all my picks, and tattoos does it too, comes back to the fact that like it's my choice. Like there's no one in charge of my life but me. Whereas you're a child, someone's always in charge of you. But
you sound like a teenage girl on her way to college for the first time. I don't have to listen to my parents anymore.
No, but like it is like, you know, I can do whatever the hell I want.
It's a broad pick. It's arguably going to be every pick.
Hey, I made this list as I was falling asleep to take a nap 10 minutes before this. Okay, I'm sorry.
Don't admit that.
Great nap. Yeah, dude, we had a lot of prep time. Come on, to be fair, we picked this list a while ago. It's not our fault that you just prepped it, but we also just prepped ours.
You're a busy man.
I think it is your guys' fault because it was my option
to procrastinate.
Sure. Anyway, my number 3. You guys are gonna sit here and shit on me. It's fine. My number 3.
You can do that as an adult.
If I don't like, I don't do.
Sounds like options, but just phrased in like a weirdly illiterate way.
I said they were all pretty similar. There was a theme.
Don't like sentences. Don't do.
All I'm saying is that for this list, every time I thought of something, it was like, oh, money. And I was like, oh, I don't have money. Oh, I owe money. That's not a perk. None of those are perks.
Right.
It's
like the idea of these things would be a perk. You could have gone really general with it, but you were like, no, this has to be very personal to me. I get where you're coming from.
No, but if I don't like, I don't do. The other night, I went to a club with people. I got there. I was like, I don't like this. I don't do. And I just left. I walked out and I left.
You Irish goodbye?
The next day they were like, what happened to you? I was like, I went home. They're like, oh, did you lose us? I was like, no, I knew where all of you guys were. I went home.
I knew exactly where you were. It's just not where I wanted to be.
It was like, oh, I was at the bar. I was like, yeah, no, dude, I know. And they're like, I was dancing. I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, I don't do.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
You should have been as specific as this. You should have said that you can Irish goodbye people without people.
Well,
I was gonna say without people freaking out, but like you can just leave without people freaking out.
Yeah.
You know.
When they asked you where you said, you should have just said, if I don't like, I don't do, and leave it at that, and just let them decipher the weird inner workings of your brain.
No one can do that. No, what I was going to put on this list was a call back to Griffin's childhood list and be like sneaking out and be like, Irish goodbye. But I didn't want to be too big of a dick and just rail on everything you said last week. So I didn't. No, if I don't like, I don't.
You don't do.
I don't do. If I don't want to talk to you, I don't talk to you.
More like broken in my brain. But
if I don't want to go, I don't go. If I don't want to talk, I don't talk. If I don't want to do, I don't do.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
This is a good new catchphrase for you. Like we've needed catchphrases on this show.
It's kind of been saying that it hasn't been your catchphrase up until this point in your life, or maybe it has in the Hamptons. I don't know, but it's very on brand for you.
I mean, honestly, it's about to be my bio in all social medias.
Are you going to get a tattoo that says, if I don't like, I don't do?
Honestly, I might.
Good, you're an adult.
I might do that. I might get t-shirts. Who wants merch?
I just thought of a great...
Go ahead.
I just thought of a great thumbnail for this video would be our faces on Andy Samberg in the SNL skit. I'm an adult, like, you know.
We're really giving people a peek behind the curtain here, telling them about how we plan our thumbnails. We don't. But yeah, also a good point. We probably should have wrapped that into the sponsor talk earlier. If you would buy list night merch, tell us so that we can decide if we want to, put it together or not. Because if it's just the three of us wearing it, that sounds not cool.
But if we ever make merch, I am also buying a t-shirt cannon. And people don't want the t-shirt. I don't care. You don't like, I still do.
You're just gonna shoot it at your camera?
No.
We're
Down
going
the
to take the
street.
show on the road. And also, Thomas is going to be the only guy in the history of merch to lose money selling a lot of merch. It's just going to be him buying
I'm just giving it away.
Not selling, yeah, just giving it away.
All right. Well, if I don't like, I don't do.
All right.
My number 2 is a lot like my other one. God, this is a terrible list. These are all the exact same. My number 2, and I'll explain it, I guess, more what I was thinking, is the freedom to leave.
That's your number 3.
No. I said I would explain. I don't like, I don't do was Irish goodbying. Freedom to leave is like, I could end this call, take me 2 hours to pack up my car and just drive somewhere else and live there now. Like,
but like not end the
Like
call
we-
until we're done recording the pod though, right? Because
yeah. No, but like as a kid, you were not allowed to run away, or most of us were not allowed to run away. Griffin's parents left the window unlocked so that hopefully he would.
And shoved him out of it.
I stuck out. They were like, maybe this is the time.
They're like, go put the latch. No, but like literally, like, I'm not saying like run away from your problems, but like you could if you wanted to. Cause like, who's gonna stop you?
You can try.
Yeah. You have a kid, leave.
Okay, I mean,
Jesus Christ. We're never gonna get a sponsor.
Maybe we might, like adoption centers might want to sponsor us.
I was gonna say like divorce lawyers.
Also divorce. That's a better plan than what I said. Man, you have a nose for marketing.
I don't know what to say to that. Nobody come back.
There isn't one.
Plead the fifth. Anyway, my number 1 does deviate from the theme a little bit, and that is, as an adult, I control the thermostat.
Okay. This is a good pick. Finally, you had one.
Yeah.
Like this is the one that you chose that was specific enough to be a pick. And this is coming from me, the guy who beyond cheated last time and put 10 picks in one for every single one of my picks.
We acknowledge that you beyond cheated. So
absolutely.
When we do and we just released the last week's pod like a couple hours before this one is being recorded. If you win, that's not a win. You cheated. We're disqualifying you. Thomas,
it's a win.
If Andrew wins, Thomas gets your win. And if I win, I get my win.
Bullshit. I'm taking my win.
No, I'll admit my list does suck, but I control the thermostat. So my list can suck, but I'm going to sleep in 64-degree home and I'm going to be happy.
Why wouldn't you want to? Like, I just don't understand old people. And
money.
Like, no, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Just like, don't do something else that month.
Yeah. I actually kind of agree where like some people are like super anal about that stuff, like paying an extra $10 per month. And I don't mean to sound like insensitive. Like sometimes like you really need to save the money, but like, but people also like overblow, how expensive it is to keep a place. And it depends on the installation of your place. It depends on the size of your place.
15 different streaming subscriptions. Like clearly you're not worried about an extra $10 a month.
Exactly.
No,
That's my point is people spend it on other stuff that to me would make me way less happy than being physically comfortable for the entire month.
But you also got to think about I assume both of you grew up like me and we didn't have two propane oil tanks outside of our house, and that was the heat. Like where I am now, like we have the tanks right outside the house to come get filled once a month. Like, so it is different in that scenario where like that's more of a physical like money thing, I guess, for me. But not that I have to worry about that right here, but like I just mean like I like it cold. And growing up, it didn't matter. Like I could not touch, I wasn't touching the thermostat. One, I didn't know how to do it. And two, it wasn't my money. But now, like if I want the AC on when it's 75 degrees out, I put the AC on.
Yeah, that's big. You don't like hot, so you don't do
I don't like hot.
I'll crash at my mom's house, and prior obviously to the move, but I'll crash at my mom's house like once every 4 or 5 months because there's something I've got to do in the suburbs in the morning, or I just want to be there for brunch or whatever. And I swear to God, I could wake up at like 1 in the morning to turn the thermostat down by 1 degree, go back to bed, and within 15 minutes she'll get up, turn the thermostat back up, potentially to a higher amount than it was at previously, knock on my door, yell at me about turning the thermostat down, and then go back to bed. So it's mostly a thing that adults can do, but not when they're under somebody else's roof. So yeah, I agree with you. When my thermostat was always down way low.
It's like you said, it's a physical comfort that I am beyond happy to exploit and make sure is where I want it.
Yeah.
Is it great for the environment? I have no idea. I don't think so, but it seems like one of those things that people said is bad for the environment, but really it's like corporations are the people that are bad for the environment. So I'm not that worried about it.
A little bit of A, a little bit of B.
That's also why I love staying at hotels, because I love sleeping on the AC side of the bed where they're just blasting it all night long, and it's like super
got the
cold
white noise. It's on super low. You're in a comfy like king size bed. It's way too much room for you. You're having the time of your life. I love staying.
I'm gonna go to a hotel tonight.
You know what? You
okay.
have the freedom. You have the freedom and the option to leave where you are and go to the hotel. Because if you don't like it, you don't do. You don't do.
You don't do. And you have a choice.
He sold me on his list.
I do like that you called out the AC side of the bed, because that is 100% a thing in a hotel room, and it is the side you want to be on.
Oh yeah.
Of course it is. Yeah. No. It's also the side that's usually furthest from the door. And the thing that you want most in a hotel is to be furthest from the door in case somebody were to break in and try and kill you. You want to have as much as possible to flee from your significant other and let them get stabbed to death.
See, my grandpa taught me otherwise. He said you always sleep close to the door with a baseball bat. He also told me
the baseball bat?
Well, he probably would, to be honest. He probably would.
Yeah.
Like that would not surprise me if that's what he. I would not surprise me if he used to do that.
Must be just a joy dating you, Griffin. Like I can't.
I think you could imagine.
There are moments of joy punctuated by long periods of just why. But again, as an adult, you have the choice.
Not date you.
Yeah. I am gonna take one of my options right now and ask you guys, do you want to hear a recap of my pretty shitty and pretty much exact same list?
I mean, I feel like I've got it down, but I'd love to hear a recap anyway.
Let's hear the recap.
Oh, okay. Just for you guys, since you're so curious and big fans of it and really want to hear it again.
And for the sponsor.
Number 5 is tattoos, because like get them, they're fun. Number 4 is options, because like you have the option to get a tattoo because it's fun. Number 3 is if I don't like, I don't do. So like I don't want to not get a tattoo, so I do. Number 2 is the freedom to leave, because like if I want to leave, I'm going to leave.
I want to leave
go
right
get
now.
A tattoo. And number 1 is controlling the thermostat, because after you get a tattoo, sometimes it's kind of hot and you want to cool it down a little bit, and you get to control it.
You know, you've done that once before. I remember on the minor holidays list, because you related everything to Slurpees. But in that one, it made sense because that was your number 1. This time you related everything back to your number 5. So I'm a little confused by that. But
yeah, his order is confusing.
I'm a little confused by everything about your list.
To be honest,
mentioning. Number 5 and number 1, good picks in my opinion. Number 4 through 2 just kind of sound like you led a really, really controlled, semi-abusive childhood, which you didn't. I know for a fact you didn't, but I'm concerned that you've convinced yourself that you did.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I think I'm a little delirious because I don't even like this list that much. I don't. But like I'm gonna stand by it because I have the option to stand by it. I have the freedom to leave if I didn't want to stand by it.
All right, we're not doing this again.
I'm gonna give it a second recap.
I can't wait.
It was a set of 5 things in an order, 5 through 1. I'll give you that.
I cannot wait to get 2 pity votes.
You and only one of your burners this week? That's crazy. You've got like 11 of
I'm gonna get a vote from my friend that like doesn't even know you two, and it's just like, oh, Tom's doing a thing.
He listens to your segment of the pod and then he turns it off.
Maybe.
Or she, I don't know. Okay, moving on to me. As people may have gathered from my reaction to Tom's number 5 pick, my number 5 pick is very similar. I put getting tattoos and piercings, which I understand is not necessarily something that you have to be an adult to do, but to get a lot of them, you kind of do. Otherwise, your parents.
Ooh, copycat.
Yeah.
Get your own list.
Name number 5. And then tattoos. Like everybody, like I said, everybody knew somebody when they were like a teenager that had tattoos, but it was always like some stupid ass tribal shit on their bicep or whatever, or like their friend that had a tattoo going. Shout out Sanchez, just doing bad tattoos for their friends. But as an adult, you can really get anything, not even within reason. If you want to get, a face tattooed on your throat, you can do that. If you want to get your entire body covered up, you can do that. You shouldn't do that, but you can do that. And that's not something that you can experience, before adulthood.
So where are you in getting your throat tattoo?
I have not gotten it yet.
Oh, clearly.
Not because I can't, but I can't because I cannot afford it. And also because I like to remain employed. But if I didn't, I could get it. If I was there, believe me, my body would be tatted the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, you're not this. I feel like you're being contradictory with your pick if you're saying this is a big perk of adulthood for you, yet at the same time, there's something holding me back from doing it because not for me. I mean, like I have the option to do it, but not going to do it.
Andrew, what was that? What was that word?
The word was option, which apparently you have trademarked the word option now.
Almost everything is going to have a cost associated with it, but it's still something that we can do that we could not do when we were younger without facing like severe consequences.
So what you're saying is, if you like, you do, and if you don't like, you don't do.
No, this is I'm not like I'm able to make sentences that don't sound like they're from like the Flintstones or something.
This is turning into hot dogs all over again.
Yeah, I can't wait for Thomas to choose to not be on this pod anymore.
To leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the two of you will be so entertaining.
No, we will not be. That will be the end of the pod. That's 50% of my funniest friends leaving. There's no way to carry on, other words. Number 4 on my list, and I feel like I might get some pushback on this one, which I think, looking back, is something I say pretty much every week. Number 4 on my list is grocery shopping. I like being able, and I'm going to say the word choose, and Thomas, don't act like you came up with the word. I like being able to choose what I eat. I like being able to, go to the grocery store, should I choose to go to the grocery store, and come home with one of the like 12 things that I was supposed to get, and then also like cookies and baked goods and chips and ice cream and pizza to put in the freezer. And there's, outside of my body getting soft and shitty, there's no consequences to that. Like no one's gonna get mad at me. I'm allowed to have whatever I want. And the act of grocery shopping is also somewhat enjoyable. It's a relaxing thing to do usually.
Yeah, I mean, there are heart disease, diabetes.
Yeah.
I could go on and on. However,
Yeah.
I get the point of what you're saying. And initially, I was going to correct you and just say, why grocery shopping? Why not just the fact that you could eat whatever you want whenever you want? But I kind of get what you're saying. Like, I enjoy going to the grocery store sometimes. I enjoy, like not just eating the food, but like the act of choosing what to get and actually, shopping for it and stuff like that. I get that.
So I'm on the fence with this one because sometimes I hate grocery shopping
Sure.
because like it's something like I have to do. Like it's like a it's a requirement. But something that's great about grocery stores is the number of options. And the act of grocery shopping like can be fun. Like you get to people watch, you get to make your own decisions, you get to kind of dance with the grocery cart down the aisle sometimes, and then someone notices and you're like, yeah, what's up?
I imagine
It's a
you do
good
a little
time.
bit of flirting with the cashier.
Yeah, usually it's self checkout, so I'm flirting with myself. But yeah.
It's remarkably on brand as well.
No, I when you first said it, I was like, no, because I complain about grocery shopping, but like I complain until I'm actually there. And as long as it's not super crowded, I really don't mind it. And like
And
I
the certain
love
kind of places, like
love
say you
food.
go to a Costco and it's like an awful experience for the majority of the time, you then get to finish the time with some like Costco pizza and a chicken bake. And in my case, I'm getting both, and I don't feel bad about it.
How are you not like giant?
Because when I'm not busy gorging myself on food, I forget to eat for like 16-hour periods.
And
So
that is your option. You get to choose to
that
do that.
I don't choose to do that. That just happens. But yeah, hey, I'm glad that you guys, over the period of about a minute and a half, went from not liking my fourth pick to thinking it's the best pick made so far. That's big for me. On to my third pick.
That's not accurate.
Uh, if you're watching the video right now, Julia just said bye to me. She's off to volleyball. Not an important thing, but there
That
it is.
awkward silence.
Let's
now
talk about that for a
explained.
while.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Maybe we'll cut this out for the sponsor read. Probably not.
Julia, as an adult, is using her freedom to leave the apartment to go do something else.
Julia, as a recent adult, don't say her freedom to leave the apartment. Don't turn this into something that it's not.
I didn't even mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that.
There's no implications. We're not on a ship.
If she don't like you, she don't do.
We are digging ourselves holes here. Oh man.
There are. This proof in a lawsuit sometime in the future. I don't know what the lawsuit's going to be for, but it'll happen.
Probably Redbox.
Would Redbox sue us? They won't pay us.
Because we've used their name a lot.
That's true. Number 3 on my list is you can live where you want. And I'm kind of a recent example of this. Post-college, and I immediately moved into DC. And Thomas is waiting expectantly for me to say what I'm going to say. But post-college, I moved into DC way before I could afford to. And even doing that, like before I was able to afford to, I had the greatest experience. I had an awesome 5 years. I loved every minute of it. Not true. I loved a lot of minutes of it. And then when I was sick of it, I up and left. And now I live in California. And I've been telling myself since I was 11 to 12 years old that one day I was going to live in California. And now I can, and I do. And there's nobody that was able to stop me from doing that. And I was able to do it with the support of a lot of people and the support of my significant other who also wanted to do it because she also is an adult. And she's able to make choices that are good for her, like moving to California.
It just occurred to me that this is kind of a sad topic because it almost appears like we're bragging about this stuff as 28, 29-year-old men. Like if this to me would be a cooler topic. This would be a cooler topic if we were like 15 and talking about all the cool shit we're going to do when we turn 18 and like no one's going to be able to tell me to do. Like this is just sad.
But that's
but imagine
a perk of being an adult. I would have said like getting a job and like going to a strip club. And at 29, I can assure you.
So that's what I was going to say.
Neither of those things are perks of being an adult. Strip clubs, no offense to anybody that likes them. that are
They
whack.
suck.
And having a job is the worst thing that you can have outside of the fact that you do get financially compensated for it.
So what I was gonna say, if we had done it, if we had done like 15, 18-year-olds saying like what we're doing when we're adults, I think it'd be even sadder if we then look back and watch that. Like it's one of those letters where like you write to yourself like 10 years down the road you're gonna have this, and 10 years later you're like, I don't have any of this. But
I'm gonna be
anyway,
a
back to
billionaire. Spoiler alert, I'm fucking not.
so I'm just gonna, this is what, your number 3 or number 2, Griffin? What was this?
Three.
Okay, I'm just going to paraphrase it real quick.
I'm
You
in.
have the freedom to leave where you are living to go live somewhere else.
I have the freedom to live where I want
Your
to.
list is my list.
It's not. It's not. We came up with these separate. Maybe we're just similar people. I don't know. We're
Or
both wearing.
maybe there's literally only one perk to being an adult.
Right. I think that's what it's coming down to, is the only real perk is freedom of choice.
Yes.
We've solved it. End of pod.
Something else.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, number 2 on my list is based on the fact that you say that these are all good. These are all good picks. I'm making good picks. I'm glad that we agree that
You're
picks,
making my picks.
Whatever. My picks are better because mine are literate. I almost forgot the word literate. Number 2 on my list, not on Thomas's list, I'll have you know. Number 2 on my list is boozing. I can booze as much as I fucking want with only repercussions that have to do with like the choices I make while boozing as opposed to the actual legality of it. I can drink whatever I want, essentially whenever I want, with whomever I want, as often as I want. Because I'm a functioning adult, thinking I was going to say functioning alcoholic, but functioning adult, I don't drink an insane amount all the time. But if I want to have a weekend where I drink myself into a stupor at the beach with my friends, I can do that. If I want to go like just spend $300 at a bar and for no reason, I can do that. And there's no legal repercussions to that unless I decide to like kick in a car's window on the way home, which I would not do.
So if you don't like to be sober, you don't do.
I hate you. I am actively rooting against from now
this
on.
This is one that obviously crossed my mind, but like my whole thought was like, yeah, what it comes down to is what you said. Like, if I want to drink, I can drink, and it's like, I don't know. It when I thought about it, I was like, it makes me sound like an alcoholic for one, which like, whatever. But the other side of it is like, it also comes down to me where like, I'm currently trying like to do things where I don't drink, like go do things, activities where are not focused around drinking. Sure. So it's like, because I feel like I got into such a phase where like everything was focused on drinking. So now it's like, probably shouldn't all be.
Yeah, see, I'm on the other side of things. I'm in a phase where I'm trying to include drinking in as much as possible, having recently moved to a new place. I had a volleyball league last night, and we weren't sure if we had a ball. And I was like, we don't even need to play volleyball, guys. We can just go right to the bar. And they were like, we want to play volleyball.
They were like, we're Californians. We actually do physical activity.
Yeah, they were like, it's so nice out tonight. We can go to the bar after. And I was just like, fuck.
You were like, these are not my people.
Guess I'm bringing my own drinks next time, which I can do.
Yeah, I mean, this is on my list, so I can't really say anything bad. But other than the fact that it's interesting that you two are going in wildly different directions in your lives. Thomas is becoming healthier, and Griffin's becoming more disgusting than ever before.
I didn't say I was becoming healthier or having success, but I'm just saying I have thought about it where I'm like, I should probably do things where I don't drink.
Yeah,
to make sure I can.
Jesus. Dark.
All right. Fantastic. I'm glad we're just learning a lot about ourselves from this episode. Might not be the funniest episode, but it's going to be very revealing. Number 1 on my list, and I need to say, before the pod, Andrew texted us and he said Griffin's list is going to be like, at some point he's going to say that he's closer to his like inevitable demise or closer to his death or something like that.
He used the word death.
Yeah, I think he used death, whatever. Demise is a better word. It wasn't going to be number 1 on my list, But there was a really strong chance that that was the direction that I was going to go in before he texted me that, and it was going to be on my list. So instead, I went in a more positive direction, and this is one that I believe in. So it's not like I'm substituting one for the other.
Literally anything would be more positive.
And well, I mean, depending on what kind of life you're living. Number one on my list, pretty whack choice. I'm not going to get the point that Thomas got for his, is you have different friends everywhere and everywhere when you're an adult. When you're a kid, your friends are pretty much exclusively tied.
Thomas is shaking his head no.
Thomas is shaking his head no. They're pretty much exclusively tied to the geographic area that you grow up in. And so like everybody, and this is probably a bad example because I'm doing this on a pod with guys that grew up in the same geographic area as me. But like everybody believes that the friends that they make when they're like 5, 6, 7, or even into like their teen years are like their friends forever. And they're their best friends. And whatever girl they date when they're a teenager is the girl that they're like destined to be with forever and all that, or vice versa. That's largely horseshit. Like you are friends by convenience, and you can form great friendships out of that. You can form strong, stable relationships out of that. But by and large, you're going to meet the majority of the people that you spend your life with as an adult in different situations away from where you grew up, if you got away from where you grew up. And you can't do that as a kid. I mean, I guess you could if you're like moving around all the time or something like that, but then you're forced into that position and it's not really your choice to do it. You're doing it because you have to do it. As an adult, you know, if you want to go to a bar and talk to people, or you want to join a sports league and talk to people, or you want to chat people up wherever you go or whatever, you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. People are always looking for more friends, and you have the opportunity to make them everywhere. And then if you make them everywhere, you're going to have them all over the place. So you're going to have people in different states to visit, and different countries to visit, and people to travel with. And it's not really something you can experience as a kid. It's not something that's open to you at that point.
So clearly you didn't have any pen pals as a kid.
I couldn't
not to like make this like sad, but I have friends who don't live anywhere near me. Like, there's a good chance I never see him in person ever again because of complications of life and responsibilities and whatnot. So like, I get what you're saying, but to me, it's also like, it's less about being an adult and it's more about the technology, I guess, like
you
access to it.
Could hypothetically, on a whim, buy yourself a plane ticket because you have the choice to travel without any sort of guidance, and you could go visit those people, or they could come visit you.
You're right. My list was correct. No, but like so I guess what I'm saying is I see this pick less as you're an adult now and more that technology is different. Because if you look at kids now, between TikTok and other social medias, they have friends who are not geographically close to them. And I understand your point, like they can't just get up and leave and go get, like they don't have the freedom to leave and go see them. But that takes me back to my list.
About kids now, when Andrew was telling us about Chungi or whatever last week, it's that they're stupid. And so I don't agree with however they choose to live their lives. Put down your phones and get on a plane. And you can do that when you're an adult.
All right, old man Griffin. I lean more towards Thomas's side of this. I don't like this pick. I mean, like I get the sentiment of it, but to me, I enjoy having like friends of friends, or like friends that you're not that close with in different cities, because then you can go visit them and you like, you know, hang out with them for a few days. But no, like I feel like life is way better. Like either like college age or younger or right after, where like all your friends are close by. That's me. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I agree with Thomas. Like you say you're going to visit people more than you actually ever will. And agreed that like life gets in the way and stuff like that. So to me, it's better to have people close.
2 things to that, to go with Andrew. You guys haven't visited me here, but some of my best friends.
No, not an okay. No, I tried to, and then COVID happened. We had tickets to come see you.
You had tickets to go see a concert.
Global pandemic popped off.
Yeah, that was a concert that you just were like, we'll stop by Thomas's, but concert.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say with you,
no,
like I'm not gonna have this on recorded.
Two. Griffin, this is Andrew's way of saying he misses us.
Oh, 100%. But which one of us is he gonna choose? Because he can only move to one of the two places.
Oh, I'm not asking him to move here.
Choose,
I'm asking him to move here. Choose California.
Choose California. I'm asking you both to move here so we can get our studio apartment with one large bed where we can record all the pods.
Griffin, this goes against your pick. You're literally asking us to move to you when you just said you want to have friends everywhere.
Yeah, we'll still have friends back home. I'm not asking everyone to move here.
You won't have a friend where I'm in anymore.
The first thing I said was friends of friends and or acquaintances are great to have far away. And that's where Griffin fits. So good. Get out. Like, yeah.
Okay.
You know, Hermosa Beach. I'll visit every 5 years.
All
Andrew
right.
don't like Griffin. Andrew don't do.
Yeah.
You don't like Griffin. That's true. Andrew don't do. That's a fact.
Give your recap.
Yeah. Give my recap. Can't wait to win. All right, bad take, bad number one. So Thomas had a good number one and a bad list. I had a great list and a bad number one. We'll see how Andrew does. My list, starting at number five. Number five was tattoos. I'm actually not going to put my hands up this week because they called me out on it last week. Number five was tattoos and piercings. Number four was grocery shopping. Number three was living where you want. Number two was boozing. And number one was not being closer to my inevitable demise, but different kinds of friends everywhere and anywhere.
Bad list. I have a prediction. Andrew's gonna cheat somehow, but he's gonna have a good list and he's gonna win, and I'm gonna be upset about it.
I think Thomas is gonna get this week. I think I'm gonna be in last.
I'm looking at my list. I don't think I cheated any more than you guys may have. Like there's some ambiguity a little bit, but not as much as Thomas had.
Griffin literally picked my list. Griffin heard my list. I was like, I'm gonna choose different words. I'm gonna choose different words.
Specific things that were within the nuance of your list because you picked the idea of
specific things. Boozing.
All right. Number five.
People.
You
said choice.
I said options.
You said options. You used the word options.
Yeah, big stock trader over here.
Number five on my list is hobbies. So, like specifically having the money and the time to pursue hobbies that you're legitimately interested in and that you've had time in your life to know that this is something I want to spend time doing. I feel like as a kid, like you have hobbies, but it's either like things that maybe like your parents signed up for or your friends are doing, and you just kind of try everything and, you know, you do whatever you think might be fun. But as an adult, I feel like it's a good time to narrow it down to things that you actually like to do and pursue those things. Thomas, do you have a question?
Andrew, as arguably one of your longest standing friends, do you have a hobby?
List night.
Okay. Yeah, I figured Griffin. That's what Griffin was going to say.
I've had a hobby for months, but until we get that Redbox sponsorship, this is a hobby.
Yeah, I'm not judging you. I was generally curious, like I don't have a hobby, so I was just curious, like if this was something if you're like as an adult you can have hobbies. If you were like maybe you got into building trains and I didn't know it.
He chooses the option to not have any hobbies, but he can have hobbies if he were to like discover any. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the pick.
I actually like the pick.
Sounds like you do. It sounds like you hate the pick.
No, I get where you're coming from because when you're a kid, like your hobbies aren't really even hobbies. They're just like predetermined tasks that your parents kind of like pick for you, or like playing sports as a kid. As an adult, you would probably describe it as a hobby, but as a kid, it's like your parents sign you up for like teams and stuff. And for at least the first few years of it, you don't really have that much of a choice to what they want you to do. As an adult, you have the options. Yeah. I saw Thomas over there just leaning closer and closer to his camera. You have the option to choose whatever it is you want to do. So I get where you're coming from. I mean, I think to an extent you are able to have the hobbies you want as a kid, but definitely not to the degree that you have in adulthood. My
I
big
also
thing is that I don't have time for most people don't have time for hobbies as adults because everything that we do, this is a other discussion entirely, we try and monetize or it's just our work.
I also feel like as an adult, especially with technology now, you have access to groups and like groups of people who are interested in the same hobbies. So if you're
Yeah.
into Pokemon card collecting as an adult, you can find a group for that, or like like without judgment or whatever. So I'm not saying I am, but
thing to mention about there being no judgment when it really makes more sense for a kid to be into that hobby without any judgment, but it's fine. No
Right.
judgment.
No, so I do like this pick, and I'll say I would agree with Griffin's statement that like don't have time for hobbies, but what it actually is for me, like I would love to have a hobby, and like I tried, but like I'm too lazy to have a hobby. Like I'm too lazy to put the energy into a hobby where like it becomes a hobby
So
because all my energy goes into work, and then the rest of my energy goes into trying not to work.
yeah.
So I really like the pick because I wish I had the dedication for a hobby. I just don't.
every single person listening to this pod when it comes out is going to be like, you guys are literally in the act of engaging in a hobby right now. We don't get paid to do
This
this.
is a job.
Do it because I fucking wish.
Check the anchor
But
stats.
it's a hobby. It's a hobby. This is a hobby that we all engage in, and we dedicate a lot of time to it by choice. So, yeah, I mean, this is not the kind of thing that we could have probably done as teenagers. We would not have been able to afford it. We would not have had time for it. We would not have had anything to talk about. And like, how's high school today?
I stand by what I said, where I don't have the energy for hobbies.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that part is still true. That's not wrong.
That's
But-
fair. That's fair enough.
It's a good pick, Andrew. I'll give you this one.
Number 4 on my list is how am I going to phrase this? Okay, it's
Options.
How are you?
and, like thinking for yourself, like learning enough about the world to formulate opinions on your own, like more deep thinking, like whether it be politics, religion, what you want out of life, whatever. I feel like as a kid, you kind of have it in your head that, what your parents did or what the adults around you did is the normal way to do things and the normal way to believe things. So you just kind of roll with the punches and just do, go along to get along. So I feel like one of the biggest perks of adulthood is, taking the time to actually think about these things in more depth and formulating your own opinions.
So I don't disagree. What I mean is like, again, it's one of those things where I don't really see it as like a perk of actually being an adult. I see it as a perk of like life experience, which I guess goes with being an adult, but like, because as you get older, you're introduced by more things and you have access to more things. So yeah, I guess that goes with perk of being an adult. I see it more as like your world grows as you get older,
Right.
which I guess should have been on my list as one of my things.
Well, I guess it goes beyond just like thinking for yourself, but also putting those thoughts into action to shape your life. So like in the politics example, you can, choose how you want to vote or whatever. In the religion example, you can choose whether, what you want to believe in. In the family life, like you could choose whether, you want to have kids or, if you want to get married, like all these things. So
all these options.
It's not just thinking, but it's also like putting that into action as well.
Yeah, I don't really have any objection to this one. When you started saying it, I was like, no, when I was a kid, I definitely had like my own thoughts and feelings on things, but they were so largely like, even as I progressed away from my parents' feelings on things and the feelings of like people around me, they were still so largely defined by them that they're not even recognizable to me, 10 or 11 years later. So I like the pick.
Begrudgingly.
I wouldn't even say begrudgingly. It's something that is largely unique to adulthood, I'd say. So, and it's I think it also it's largely unique to adulthood, but it's also largely unique to some people. Some people I don't think really go through this. And I think a lot of it is the type of environment you grew up in and the type of environment you found after growing up. But a lot of people will continue to have the same beliefs and not even think for themselves when it comes to all of those things. And it doesn't need to be political. It doesn't need to be religious. It doesn't need to be anything as serious as that. It could be just like beliefs in the type of content they like to consume. They're going to like what their parents like. Some people will always feel that way. But much like Tom's favorite word, they will always have the option to feel differently. Not really so much as, I mean, you have the option as a kid, but it's not really readily available to you. It's not presented to you until you're an adult.
Um, I see. I guess this every time we say something, it just makes me realize like, uh, we grew up in a weird time in terms of like the what I consider like the transition of technology, because kids nowadays have all the access we have. And Griffin, you said like a unique experience, like, and I think it's becoming less unique because younger people are getting more involved and more knowledgeable. And you look at someone, this is the first thing I thought of when you said this, Andrew, was Greta Thornburg. That's her last name, right? Thornburg. Like, if this is what being an adult is, she's more of an adult than I'll ever be. Like, she's a leader in environmental stuff. I don't know how to word it, but you know what I mean? So like, yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I wanted to disagree with this pick more, I guess, than I do, but it just makes me realize that the differences between when we were kids to what kids are now.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good point because your opinions when you're real young, I feel like are formulated by your parents. And then, you throw teachers into there and then eventually like media and books and the internet, obviously. And, with access to that basically at any age, it's true that you can quickly be introduced to ideas and like opinions that your parents don't have or that you're not raised in your immediate neighborhood environment much earlier than even when we were kids. So
yeah,
it's interesting. We should have a sociology podcast.
Like a separate pod entirely, or like sociology as a list? How would we do that?
List nightology.
I'll think about it.
I don't know.
Listology.
Can't wait for more
Number
hobby
3.
podcasts.
Right. Number 3 on my list is creating your own schedule. There's a little bit of an asterisk with this because most people have jobs, so it obviously is a little bit dependent on that. However, I feel like a lot of people, I think every adult has the ability to create their own schedule for part of the day at least, and for part of the calendar year, whatever it may be. And other people may be able to create their own schedule and work whenever they want or whatever. But I just feel like everything when you're a kid is very structured and planned out, whether it's school, whether it's extracurricular activities, camp in the summer, whatever, sports teams, when dinner is going to be served, when breakfast is going to, like literally everything in your life. And, you can choose as an adult to eat one meal a day at 6 p.m. and eat a ton of food. Then, that's a schedule choice to me. So it's a little broad, but to me, this is a big one.
Yeah, I don't feel like I guess I do. Like, if I were to actually think about it, like the vast majority of the things that I do are on my schedule and when I want to do them. I think in the moment you don't feel that as much because it's like, oh, there's just so many obligations that I've got to take care of as an adult that I didn't have as a kid. But the reality of it is, like, if you don't have specific obligations on the weekend is whatever you want it to be. If you don't have specific obligations that you've set for yourself after work, your day after work is whatever you want it to be. You sleep when you want to, you wake up when you want to, in relation to work, outside of work, and anything else that you choose. Yeah, I mean, it again, it is definitely a perk of adulthood, but it's one of those ones that feels like you don't experience it as much. because like when you're in it, it's
I
not
don't-
like a conscious choice. It's kind of like an unconscious thing that's always happening. So I guess I agree.
I-
I don't think it's a bad pick, but I hate that I'm with you on so much of your list so far. So that's a shitty pick, dude. I don't agree with it, and I hate you.
I do get what you're saying, Griffin, where it's kind of like an after the fact thing. Like in it, you don't feel like you're making the decisions, and then you look back, you're like, oh, I decided to do that. I decided like I almost put napping on my list because like as long as I'm not working, I can take a nap.
Dude,
And
I'll
that's my
fuck-
choice.
The most childish thing to do in the world would be
Exactly.
on your
That's why I
adult
didn't go on my
list.
list.
so much better as an adult. Oh my god, so much
But-
better as an adult.
But also, I think instead of perks of adulthood, we should have just said favorite options of being an adult.
There's that
I mean,
word.
it's kind of the same
I
thing.
just don't even feel like you know what the word options means anymore.
Andrew just said, I'll paraphrase for Andrew. You have the option to do whatever you want whenever you want to do it. Whenever you want to do it.
Paraphrasing us.
You have the option.
I'm just
to
enjoying
create your
sitting
own
back
schedule.
and letting Thomas go off about how he thinks he invented the idea of having options.
I didn't. I was
It's
just the first one to have it on my list.
very
And you guys
entertaining.
say, you
First
guys said it
person
wasn't a
in
good
history of
pick.
the list to have
We said it
options
wasn't
on
a
his
good
list.
pick.
A list is a set of options.
You said it wasn't a good pick, and now all your guys' picks fall under the category of my number
Because
4.
I'm of the opinion that it is not a pick. It is the sum total of picks. It's every pick.
So what Andrew does most of the time.
It's
Yes,
like we
I
pick.
agree. No, I'm
It's
not
like-
saying that this is the first instance of cheating on the pod. I'm just saying thus far I haven't cheated at all, and
I don't
feel like
think
that's
it's
my move.
I don't think it's cheating when I do it.
I feel. I mean, it's like we took the.
Hope you don't say that to a woman in the future.
Jesus, we took the list that we were gonna do, and instead of listing your things that made the list, you just listed synonyms for what the list was.
Well, I think the problem was this list made me sad because I was like, what do I enjoy about being adulthood that I didn't enjoy as being a kid? Like
I'm
I
honestly
have more
proud.
things to do now. I don't have
There was
the
a lot
freedom.
on the kid. I was looking back to the kid list. We were talking about it. I was like glowing. Now we're talking about adulthood, and I'm like, man, here's all the other things. Like I gotta pay for this. Gotta do this, I gotta
I'm
make sure-
honestly proud of all of us for even showing up. Number 2 is on that note. Number 2 is alcohol. Like,
Are we sponsored?
Boozing.
no, I'll cover up the brand.
We'll
name
blur it out.
Uh,
We won the
yeah, I mean, Griffin kind of covered it. I don't want to appear like an alcoholic here, but it's a fun choice to make. That's all.
A fun option.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. Yeah, no, boozing's fun. I do hope that when we make the graphics for this week, my number 2 is boozing and yours is what, alcohol?
Just alcohol.
So, the exact same thing, but not.
Nah, you know me. I love my rubbing alcohol.
You just love alcohol.
I love disinfecting wounds with rubbing alcohol.
You don't even drink it. You just look at it and you like having it around you, which I guess makes you more of an alcoholic or somehow less of an alcoholic. I'm not sure.
I think more.
Maybe more. Yeah.
Actually, I think something totally different, but equally as bad.
Yeah. It's just like it's a personal choice.
Right. Number 1 on my list is I mean, we covered this. Number 1 on my list is going places. So like being able to go basically anywhere at any time. Obviously, like this is money aside, kind of financial aside, but like if I really wanted to go to New York City tonight, I could just go. I could get in my car and go. I could buy a bus ticket and go. I mean, just like the freedom to be able to do things like that, you don't have as a kid.
The freedom to leave
Yeah.
where you currently are.
Oh my God.
Yes, but I'm not even talking about moving, like which was basically on both of your lists.
God, I'm so glad I went first this week.
I just mean going places.
Let me tell you, the reason that this was not on my list is instead it was like moving places and living places was because I knew that if I said I had the freedom to travel places, everyone would be like, Griffin, how would you do that? You don't have a license. You can't drive. You need people to take you places, which is the exact opposite of the freedom to go places. And I thought to myself, Griffin, they would have a point you don't really have the freedom to go wherever you want, whenever you want. You have the freedom to, walk places and Uber, but like maybe Uber's not going at that time. Who knows? So as it relates to your list, yes, I get why this is your number one. I think my number three, living wherever you want, is better, but I get why this is your number one.
I think your number three and his number one fall into my number two. But also, I do want you to know I was going to put like driving / having a car on my list. And I was like, that might be considered targeting and I might get in trouble. So I decided not to have that.
We're allowed to target. I thought we were absolutely allowed to target. I thought that was the whole point of this podcast, was targeting.
Yeah, there's not like a bounty system set up for the podcast.
This podcast is about love, peace, and gap.
Yeah, just good vibes all the time.
We should do lists of like each of us takes a turn for a quick list, and like let's say it's my turn. I do like 5 shitty things about Griffin.
That's the exact opposite of what I was gonna say. I was gonna say we should say complimentary things about each other and see if we can get to 5. I don't know if we can eating things.
I mean, this would be a quick way to fill 6 quick lists. Actually, we do 3 that are complimentary and then 3 that are negative. I like
giving people a peek behind the curtain.
When I was a kid,
I don't know if advertisers are gonna love that.
When I was a kid, my sister got in a fight. We would have to say, it'd be like say 2 compliments about them, or say 2 nice things about them, and that's what I feel like we're getting into. And I think it's gonna get real quick where we realize we don't have 5 nice things to say about each other, but we also don't have 5 shitty things to say about each other.
I feel like I could come up with 5 backhanded compliments about both of you guys. Like
genuine or like funny?
No, backhanded. Yeah, they'll be compliments, but they'll be mostly, bad.
They'll be mean. They'll be abusive.
Andrew, give us a recap of your list that goes under the umbrella of my list, the winning list.
End this. I'm so ready for this one to be done, so I can go back.
This is a terrible category. Number 5 is
why do people listen to this?
Number 5 is hobbies.
Do they?
Number 4 is thinking for yourself, having deeper thoughts about the world. Number 3 is being able to create your own schedule. Number 2, alcohol. And number 1, being able to go places, freedom of travel.
Andrew, I feel like you're like half your list is really just being like not being a dumb kid, like not being stupid.
It held me back for many years.
And I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm not disagreeing with it.
As it relates to Andrew, the perks of adulthood for him are likely they are like having a fully developed brain and being able to like think for yourself and make choices for yourself. And I mean that makes sense.
Destroy it with alcohol.
Yeah, and then make the worst choice that you can make.
Because you don't want a podcast where I'm like up here in IQ and you guys are like down here. So I got to drink to get myself get myself like down here just so that I'm in the ballpark.
All right. So I guess that's going to be number 1 on your list of insults for us. You think that we are legitimately stupid, and you would.
Yeah, that wasn't backhanded.
Yeah.
That wasn't backhanded.
Tell us more stuff we already know about ourselves.
I just want to say I hope it's really hot in both your guys' apartments tonight, and you don't have control of the thermostat.
I don't have a thermostat,
so I'm correct.
Yeah, we do not have AC in this apartment. We just have a lot of really great.
You don't have control of it, Andrew. You are not in charge of that house.
We just have the ocean. I chose to live in California next to an ocean. So who needs a thermostat?
You had the freedom to leave DC.
Yeah, as always, guys. Appreciate you putting these lists together. In this instance, I think we all put them together about an hour ago.
I'm sorry. I just got to say before we sign off, like this whole list put a bad taste in my mouth. It just reminded me of like the people who will like cook an egg and be like #adulting. Like I'm an adult because I know how to make an egg.
I'm glad though that you said this at the end, because if you said it at the beginning, I would have been frustrated the entire time through. Because #adulting in relation to anything is a crime, and if you put that shit on social media, just know I don't like you.
That is pretty fucking cheeky.
Next time I have a drink, I'm gonna be like, hashtag adulting, hashtag booze, hashtag options.
Hashtag alcoholism.
Hashtag I don't like, hashtag I don't do.
Hashtag if I don't want to finish this drink, I'm just gonna go home.
Whoa. I finished my drink and then I went home.
Okay, got it. All right. Okay.
I got an Uber. I didn't drive.
All right, guys. Another one in the books, episode 11. If anybody has been tuning in for all of them, we truly appreciate you. If this is your first one, we truly appreciate you. Hopefully you come back for the next episode. If you want to follow us on Twitter at listnight, Instagram at list.night. We recently made a Facebook page. Don't know if people still use Facebook pages, but if you would like to follow us on Facebook, I don't know if it's an @ I think it's just List Night on Facebook. Hit us with a follow, stay in the loop about any videos coming out, any behind the scenes stuff we do, any like side projects we're working on. It'll all be there on that Facebook. If you know anybody that wants to sponsor the pod, or if you want to sponsor the pod, you can either tweet at us or DM us or hit us up at listnight, not at listnight, listnightofficial@gmail.com. I know I'm kind of running through all these pretty quick, but another episode, down, another not good episode. It was an episode, it started, it had a middle, and it does have an end. And here's the next time.
We are the worst spokespeople for our own hobby.
Yeah. Well, because it's just a hobby. If we were getting paid for this, I'd be like, guys, the best podcast ever made. But because it's a hobby, and I'm generally bad at all of my hobbies, not great.
It's stressing me out, but I am gonna sleep well on my purple mattress tonight because of their 30-day guarantee.
I'm gonna sleep well on my Casper mattress because.
All right, we should end this.
Me and my pillow guy are gonna try and stage the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. Have a great night, guys.
We should.
Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know in the comments what you want to see for the next video. We appreciate any and all support, and make sure you're also following us on Twitter and on Instagram. See you next time.